back home again, my parents. So this is so a little bit of a story. So back then, when we were growing up, I have two sisters. So they are very competitive in school. We are able to kind of like buy everything we want if we are first, second, and third. So if you are not first, second, third owner, so you are not gonna get anything.
Wow.
So
Have to
so,
work hard.
yes, that was the courage that like I kind of learned from them because I mean, naturally, I like to dress up. I like nice clothes, nice things. So for me to get them, I had to work really hard and compete with my sisters. So yeah, but fashion, I think I already have that naturally in me.
Good afternoon, everyone. We're at the Firehouse headquarters again, and we are so excited for our second episode for today. But before I bring in our very special guest, I just want to share a little bit about the whole self. So these are new product. These what we created recently, and it's really good right now. Especially this is our second podcast, and I don't have our Paco with me right now, so I'm just gonna miss a little bit, in myself. Just around the room, I can smell the aroma, calms me down. It's good for my skin, right? And anybody can use this. So we'll talk more about this one later in the next episode. But anyway, today I'm so excited because I'm gonna bring another special guest, one of the leaders of Firehouse team, Janisa Olivar, our Director of Patient Care in Optima Care Home Health Services. Hello, Jean.
Hi, Miss Abel. Good afternoon. Hi, everyone. My name is Janessa. I am the director of Optima Care, one of the leading home health company in the Inland Empire. Thank you for having me here today, Miss Amabel. Happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day to you. We're so honored to have you today.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so we'll just chat.
All right,
Okay,
of course. I'm in for that.
We just have to, show people and kind of like share what we do and share the people around us in our Firehouse team. So Janisa actually is the youngest directors of our team.
Thank you.
That's why I was kind of like, let me pick who's my second one. Let me pick on the baby. So she is the youngest one, and you are 30.
I'm 33. Yes.
She's 33 years old and director of our Optima Care Home Health. Like she said, one of the leading
Home
agencies
health
here
company.
in Inland Empire,
Yes,
right?
that's true.
Okay, Jean. So just briefly, just we're both immigrants here in America.
Yes,
If you can just share briefly, of course you took nursing,
correct.
and I'm sure, right, 99% sure that you took nursing because you wanted to go abroad, or you want to
Yes.
go to America,
Correct.
right?
So one of the reasons, yes.
Okay. How did you know that you're gonna you're gonna take nursing? What triggered that?
Really, nursing is not really my first choice. Okay, so that was my mom's dream to be a nurse because she really wanna be able to take care of the people, the sick people, the people in need. But she got married early, so growing up, she keeps talking about how she wanted to be a nurse, right? And because the love of my mom, I really love my mom, and so for her to kind of feel that her fulfillment, that although she was not able to become a nurse because she got married early, and she raised us, the five of us, because I am the third among five children.
Wow.
And she dedicated her life to really take care of us, to tutor, to teach us about and help us with our assignments. So, she wasn't able to go to college and fulfill her own dreams. So, because of that, a strong love that I have for my mom, in my mind, I was destined to fulfill that for her. And in the long run, I learned to love nursing as well because, I came from from a very humble town in the Philippines, and I've witnessed the poverty and the people who cannot even go to the hospital because of poverty. We live in a very humble community. So it wasn't easy because my family, they are not that wealthy. We're not very very poor, but my parents were able to help us, send us to school. And in order for me to help my family, and for me to be able to help more people, is to go to the America. Okay, so I think that is the ultimate goal of many nurses back in the Philippines, is to come here in the US, so that we can help more people. And I'm one of those people who dream that kind of dream.
So was America your first country of choice, or was there? Were you able? Did you get deployed, or did you get to work elsewhere prior to America?
No, I only, once, for me, I am that kind of person where if I dream of something, I'm gonna go head on. I'm not gonna dream of something else unless of course there's a situation where I really need to shift my dream. So my dream is to come into the America, and I dedicated my whole life to for me to be able to come here, and that's my only dream, and I made it through.
And that's actually one of the many reasons why we picked you to be the director, to be one of the leaders of our companies. Because of that, we saw that early on.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it's really a great honor for me to be part of the Firehouse team, and to be able to, of course, help the patients, the help the patients in need. So yeah, thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome, Jean. I'm just gonna situate you a little bit. There you go. You don't have to stay close
Thank
right
you.
there. You're
Right.
good. Just be comfortable.
Okay.
Right? So you're so beautiful, and we love beautiful women and beautiful men in our company, and
Thank you.
they just keep blooming over time. And I love seeing you guys bloom, because I see that when I see that, I know that you guys are loving what you do. You're enjoying your role. You're settling, and you're able to get to know and learn more in the respective role that were assigned to you.
Thank you, Miss Mabel.
And Optimize really growing. And thank you for that. Thank you for that courage. So let's talk more a little bit about your life. Because coming to America is not easy when you're alone, right? You're alone, you're young, and but of course I know that whatever you put your mind to, you could do it.
You could
and
achieve.
overcome.
Yes, of course.
So when you were working elsewhere, so your first job was when you got here.
So when I first got here, because I was, of course, making sure that my paperwork as a nurse are all situated, I actually started as a medication technician. So I passed medication to the skilled nursing facility. So I was not a registered nurse yet when I first came in the country. So I went to American University of Health Sciences in Long Beach to fulfill all the requirements of California Board of Nursing. So for about a year, I went to school here in the country, and while doing so, I was also working as a medication technician.
And how long did you do that?
It's about a year.
About a year,
About a
right?
year. Yes.
Wow. And then right after that, you went to skilled nursing?
Yes. So right after that, I did two jobs.
Oh,
Yes,
like
okay.
everybody.
Like everybody else. So right after I got my license as a registered nurse in California, so my first job was in a subacute facility, and then right after that, that was August of 2020. After 3 months of being in a subacute facility, I transitioned as well to become a psych nurse. So I was there for a little bit over a year, and while also doing my subacute role as a supervisor there as well.
Yes, I just also want the audience to capture that because sometimes they wonder, how can I become a director? How can I keep moving up to a different role and be a leader? Whatever that may be, a supervisor or a director or an administrator, right? And other people got into the corporate ladder, which is governing board, presidency, vice president, right?
Right.
So there's things that we need to do. There's tasks and skills that we need to learn. And sometimes initially we don't really know and we don't really dream, where we need to go, right?
Right.
But we just keep learning as we go. We keep learning as we keep moving forward.
Right.
And the skills that we get along the way just keeps giving us the power, right? The courage, the confidence to be who we are when that right time comes.
Correct.
Because the right time and the timing of being picked to lead is really based on the timing
Correct.
or the
Yes.
maturity of our own personal, journey. Correct? Right?
Yes, I agree with you on
Yeah.
that.
So there are times when you're assigned, like you said, you were a medication tech. Other people, we have, like me, I started like a caregiver. That was my first job. I was a caregiver here in America. And that time I just want to survive. I just need to have a job. I need to have money. I need to be able to situate myself as I keep finding my
Right.
path. But sometimes we don't really know what our path looks like. We don't really know where we're going. We just keep moving forward and we just keep embracing what's in front of us.
Correct. Just keep plugging in until you get to your dream. Yeah. So it's not easy, but along the way, we will have a lot of obstacles, circumstances that sometimes we wonder, am I doing the right thing? Am I making the right decision? But believe in your dreams that someday, one day, you will get it. Because if you pray for it, and then of course it will eventually be given to you. Of course, you pray for it and do your part as well.
Correct. So, when you applied, how did you, by the way, hear about, how did you heard about the opening here in our company?
Okay, so it was really blessing in disguise because I've been in my previous job as a subacute supervisor. I've been there for a little bit over 2 years. So sometimes it becomes a routine, and we want to grow. We want to learn something. We want to keep growing and growing, right? So being there for a little bit over 2 years, I crave for something new, growth. And then one of our coworker here, she knew me and she told me that she really liked how I work and how organized I am at work. So she talked to me and said, what do you think about being in a management, how about case managing or case management? So she talked me through on the possibilities that I might be interested in. So I grabbed that. I entertained that idea, and then at one point I said, I don't think I can do that. So I doubted myself first, and then Miss Pearl, our chief of the clinical, she called me and she told me that let's meet with, of course, Miss Jamie, our clinical master. So I spoke to both of them, and then they invited me to come here in the office. And then there I was like, wow, you know what, that is something very interesting that I think I would love to do too. So I went ahead and had an interview with you, and I felt so honored that you believe me and Sir Alan. Yes. And here I am.
And initially you were hired to be the assistant director.
Correct.
Right?
Yes.
Of Optima Care.
Yes.
And then you were working both the office and then you were also going out in the field,
Correct.
meeting patients.
Yes.
And that was really a good transition. That's a good training for you.
Correct. So yeah, I was so fortunate enough to witness the field as well, and then I really start from the bottom up. Okay, so as a medication technician, working in the psych lockdown facility. So being as a director of nursing in home health, I think one of the important thing that you should have is of course ability to kind of make that call. That's number one.
Decide.
Like very, it's a big decision that you need to have,
Correct.
is to be able to actually make that decision. But sometimes, if not, sometimes we can make a, like kind of 50-50 decision. Should I do this? Should I do that? We always have to keep in mind that if we are in doubt, we have our upper management to go to make sure that we are doing the right thing. Okay, so yeah.
And that's one of the strength of being a leader, that ability to decide, and then also willing to accept if it
Correct.
fails
Yes.
or it goes south, right? Because
Yes.
that's life. But at the same time, you have to have that stamina, that drive, that
To make the call.
we have to move forward.
Correct.
Somebody has to make the decision and decide and correct to make that call, because everyone's waiting. Like, okay, Gene, what am I gonna do? Are we
Yes.
gonna do this? Or gonna do that? So
Yes.
that is something that we do day in day out in the first place.
Correct.
But it takes a lot of boldness and courage to do that.
Exactly.
And
Yes.
with also wisdom, because you have to have that wisdom in a second, right?
Yes.
You have to save lives. At the same time, you have to balance compliance.
Correct.
You have to balance the company's interest, right?
Correct.
Are we going to compromise the company?
Yeah.
At the same time, the team, are we ready for this?
Exactly. Yes. So I think to be a director, it has to be you need to have a knowledge with, of course, clinical, and at the same time in the management. So being in the management, this is my first time to be in the management, but I would say for the first few months that I was in the management, it was very challenging. But of course, I know that you're there and Whisper as well, so it was not as difficult as I thought it's gonna be.
Yeah. And I just want
Yeah.
to clarify that, Jean, because a lot of people think that once you're there, it's going to be smooth sailing.
Yes.
But I want to also emphasize what you said, that this is your first time being in the
Yes.
management. And for us, employer, why do we do that? Why do we gamble? What makes us decide that we're going to take a chance on
Right.
someone who didn't have an experience? But of course, we let you start, and become an assistant first under Ina's supervision.
Yes. Correct.
Under Ina's leadership. And then you kind of like mirror and copy it and learn from there.
Correct.
But one of the things that we do and make us decide what we need to do, what we need to do as well, because we have to decide. We have
Correct.
to make that call. Is value. I mean, the values, I'm sorry, the values that you have. So remember when we were talking about, where you came from and who you were, we look at the value of the person, because we need to know, are you strong enough to be able to withstand all this pressure?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And the values and the way we were trained growing up, they're playing a big role in who we are today.
Exactly.
Right?
Yes.
We may learn something in school. We were the school prepare us to be career oriented. The school will equip us to know what we need to know knowledge wise. But the values that we were cultivated,
Yes.
that we are rooted in,
Yes. We learned that from our upbringing, from home.
correct,
Yes.
make us who we are. The
Correct.
courage that we have, the confidence that we have. Because even me, when I first decided, I was a director of nursing in a nursing home before, and then decided to open this company, my dad was behind me all the way. He was in the Philippines then, but he was like my go-to mentor. I would
Right.
always call him every day. Dad, what's the next step? I call him Tatay. So, Tatay,
Right.
what will I do now? I don't know what to do. What's my next step? And he
Yes.
would guide me, right? Every step of the way.
Yes.
So that also plays a big role. The support that we have behind this team.
Right.
It's not enough that we have this degree and we think we can be able to withstand and be able to conquer the world from there.
Right.
No, it doesn't work
It's
that way.
yeah, it's really the value and the upbringing, the training that your parents shared to you growing up. Those are really the big role,
Yeah, they play a big
big
factor.
role
Yeah.
for you to to how you make a decision. Of course, I was raised in a family where my parents, my mother, my mother is very she's a very nurturing, caring. So now that I am part of the management, every time I make the call or a decision, I always think of my family. So they are the driving force of that decision. So if I put it in a situation where what if my family or my loved ones, they are in that situation,
What are
what
they gonna
would I do? What am I gonna do? Of course, what's best for the patient, or what's best for my family. At the same time, that decision should also 100% that it is according to the compliance, and at the same time to safeguard, of course, the company that I'm leading. So
Very
it
good.
has to be a balance.
Correct. Okay. So let's switch gear a little bit. Let's talk about fashion.
Okay, fashion. I like fashion.
I love fashions, and that's very important. We always stress that in the office, right?
Right.
Be fashionable. Be who you are and be strong, but at the same time, don't lose yourself, right?
Correct.
Be fashionable. Take care of yourself. Dress up and make sure that you always prioritize yourself.
Correct.
So, tell me, did somebody influence you in that?
Um. Okay, for fashion, I would say not really, but maybe because back home again, my parents. So this is a little bit of a story. So back then, when we were growing up, I have two sisters. So they are very competitive in school. So we are able to kind of like buy everything we want if we are first, second, and third. So if you are not first, second, third owners, so you are not gonna get anything.
Wow.
So
Have to work hard.
yes, that was the courage that I kind of learned from them, because naturally I like to dress up. I like nice clothes, nice things. So for me to get them, I had to work really hard and compete with my sisters. So yeah, but fashion, I think I already have that naturally in me. I love fashion, nice dresses, nice dresses, nice purses. So yeah, those are my things.
Was that a mommy influence?
Yes, my mom likes those things too. So
Oh,
yeah,
that's good.
yeah, it's
So
her.
again, we'll rooted back to home, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
correct.
give your best. It's the same thing with me. You know what? Like, what made you decide who you need to be, and what made you decide what
Yeah.
you need to look like?
Correct.
And my dad was the one who influenced us in that.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
he always remind us, and my mom too. Give your best. Look
Exactly,
your
yeah.
best. Do your best.
Yes, look your best, because my mom, she's not working. She's the one really taking care of us and make sure that every time we go to school, we always look presentable and clean. So I think personally, I get it from my mama.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because we get calls 24/7 literally. Um, we stay up in the office late,
Right.
and we still have to look after our family and take care of ourselves.
Correct.
How do you prepare? How do you plan what you're gonna wear tomorrow and make sure you look your best?
Okay, so most of the time I like to stay late, because I always strive for balance. Okay, balance with my personal life and of course work as well. So for me to ensure that tomorrow I don't look disheveled, I always make sure that I prepare my outfit for the next day. So I always hang them already by the what do you call this, the window, no, not window, but I put it out already, just so it's easy for me to grab the next day. So I always prepare my outfit for the next day.
Yeah. So that's another key. That's another thing that we want to emphasize, that if we want something, if we want to look our best, it doesn't happen just like that.
Right.
It takes preparation.
Yeah, preparation is the
And
key.
mindfulness.
Yes,
Right?
yes.
Putting the right color.
Uh-huh.
And dressing up is really simple. If you don't know how to dress up, start with plain colors.
Correct.
Start with simple colors, so you can put things two and two together. It's not overwhelming to the eyes, right?
Correct.
Don't put so much prints or flowers around it. Otherwise, you're gonna have a hard time, pairing it with something
Correct.
else. So make it
Yeah.
solid to start with. Yeah, but because you're modeling that No matter what situation you're in, whether we have survey, whether we have short staffing, or we have ever issues that we're facing in the
Yes.
office,
It always comes from within.
you look at that. Yes, I'm still able to smile.
Yeah.
And they always say, Annabelle, we'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it
Yeah.
out. And I like that attitude. It's an
Yeah.
attitude all the
Yes.
way, right?
Shoe up and figure it out.
Yep.
Yep.
But look sharp.
Yep.
Right.
Yes.
And I like that because there's a lot of leaders of different companies that I met, and sometimes their institution, their organization is even small. For them to neglect themselves.
Right.
So just a little reminder that as we grow in our position, as we move up the ladder, it doesn't mean that we have to forget ourselves. We have to make
Yes.
sure that it's us first
Correct.
because we won't be able to have that oxygen to look after the rest if we're not okay.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. Never let go of yourself.
Never let go. So I know we're running out of time and we have so many questions, but your team, they're beautiful and of course they have different personality. How do you glue them together?
Okay, so it's it's not easy. It's not easy task to do, but along the way, I learned that in order for us to grow, is to make sure that our team is solid. Okay, by doing so, I always make sure that I make them feel like they're heard. I listen to them. I talk to them one by one, and if I feel and see that one of them is not is not feeling good, or is not that person is not at his or her best, I ask them, can I talk to you? Can you come to my office and let's talk about it? Because just like us, we are not always our 100%, right? So there are days that we are, I'd say, 60%. Okay, so we need someone to remind us that it's gonna be okay. We're gonna be okay. And of course, from time to time, we also wanna reward our team with the small wins as a team. Okay, so those are very. Some people might think that that's like it's not important, but it's actually
It's very important.
it's very important. Let's say, for example, okay, we reach new heights, right? We reward our team because we are not able to achieve that new heights without our team members. So in order for them to feel like they are being recognized, is to reward them something as a team member.
Correct.
So,
Correct.
yeah.
Yes. And I totally agree with that because even then, like this was like when we first started. And we keep doing that even from now. I mean, right now. At one point it was 3 o'clock in the afternoon, but we had a rough day. We had so many, I believe referrals before that, and we were scrambling because we don't have staffing. But everybody was putting, their resources together, and we stayed late that very day. So the next day at 3 o'clock, I told the team, "Okay, it's a light day today. Let's go have a manicure pedicure."
Wow.
And then the office, Alan and Kajun was asking, "Where are you going? We're gonna have a manicure and pedicure. We need to take a
That's
break."
nice. Yeah.
But some people look at that like a very non-productive time, but it is really a very productive time because
Yes.
that break that you can do and take and go and do something else and breathe, right? And it's maybe a distraction or maybe just a change of scenery, but it will give you more energy.
It is
for the
very
following
yes.
day. And it will go a long way.
For sure, yeah. For us to be able to have that moment to treat ourselves is actually very important. So that way, the next day, or maybe not even next day, the next hour, you're able to make that good decision because you were able to recharge yourself. So yeah, that's very important. I have to agree with that.
Yes. Okay, Jean, because we're running out of time, but I want to ask you so many more questions. So I want you back maybe one of these days and we'll have another chat.
I will be honored to revisit again. And thank you so much for having me today.
Oh,
Miss
of
Amabel.
course. And I'm so honored. And it's Friday. Referrals are flowing.
I know,
And
for
you're here with me
sure.
today. Thank you for the time. I'm guilty actually asking you and calling you. Is there any way you can spare, an hour or two with us to do this podcast? But Thank you so much, Jean, for
You're
your
very welcome, Miss
time.
Amabel, and thank you so much as well for having me today.
Oh,
Okay.
we're honored. All of us are honored. So I hope everyone were able to pick one or two or three takeaways from the conversation with Jean. And I encourage everybody, wherever you are in your career path, keep moving forward and keep embracing what you go through. Whatever's being given to you, don't say it's not my job. Learn it. Get through it. You may not like it. At least you've done it. But who knows? You'll be surprised. You may like it, and that
Right.
is your breakthrough. And that's where breakthrough comes in. That's where they say luck, but that's where blessings comes in. And
Right.
maybe that's the answered prayer you've been waiting for.
Right. Keep plugging in and never let go of your dreams.
Amen. So everyone, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for having us again. Thank you for listening. And I'd like to share our book. It's available at edsensolutions.com. Keep blooming on the battlefield.
Yay.
Yay!
Thank you.